So we'll start with the general program that we use for data entry here. Visual Shop, this is kind of our general program that we use just really for data entry. So we'll go ahead and we'll start up GiNi and kind of run you through the functions that we use. So these are all functions you can choose from freely at any time. It is set up in a linear fashion, top to bottom. You would typically follow this workflow throughout the day. Probably the top 5 or 6 is what you're generally going to use, and these are other functions that you may use less often, but linear, you're going to go down the list. So what we'll do is we will go ahead and start with the folders that you're going to have. You have your GiNi folder, and it contains your daily to-do that's currently empty. So we'll go ahead and we'll start up the first function. Go ahead and have it grab any unread emails for us. So once the email function complete pop-up is successful, it's run in the background to target data check on this purchase order that it's pulled for you. This is the purchase order, and what it's done is it's run target data check. You can run target data check at any time. So we'll go ahead and run that now so you can see kind of what that looks like, what happened in the background. It's down here, so we'll run a target data check. It's going to reference this daily to-do folder, do target data check. Again, it reads it, lets you know that everything is good. It's extracted the information from that purchase order. You have all the information that you would require, and this is free. This doesn't change anything. This is just a nice visual readout that it understands it. Again, this is the job. This is your color. This is that it's a stock color as opposed to a non-stock, the quantity of items, and then how much powder that will require based on those. These individual items do take different amounts of powder, and so it knows how to calculate for each of these the total powder usage. Go ahead and move forward, bring GiNi into the forefront. We'll go down to the next function. The next function would be Sololux Inventory Plus. This is for powder confirmations. When we receive powder confirmations that it will be arriving in a week, you can click that. It will read those confirmations and it will update the inventory with positive intake. We'll go ahead and run it against this purchase order, so we're going to do negative because this is going to use it. So we'll go ahead and run that. It's reading the inventory right now in the background, and it's actually writing to it as well. So now we know that this is the Sololux job. We know it's the color, stock again, due date, amount of items, amount of powder usage. It's letting you know that it's added it to the 135 pounds of powder already being used on this day. So you know that there's already jobs on that day, and you know that it now requires 162 pounds on that day as opposed to 135 before. There's 175 pounds of powder the next day. So you know that even after these jobs are completed, you still have 175 pounds available to you in your inventory. Intrinsic stock is a calculation of after all jobs are completed, you'll still have 175 pounds of this color in your possession. So that's your overall buffer, your intrinsic stock. So this has already changed the inventory. It's calculated. It's already made those changes. We'll take a quick look at what the inventory kind of interface looks like. So the function's complete. It's completed it. So we have the individual colors for these, and we have rolling charts of giving an idea of your powder usage, your overall powder stock, your powder usage purchase orders, and this is intake. So you have these visuals as well as the plain English that it gives you when you run the inventory as well. Go ahead and close that down. Now that we've reflected in the inventory powder usage, we have our work order entry. Typically, you're going to start a new order here. You're going to find your company, enter your PO due date, and you're going to enter in your items and proceed. We're going to go ahead and cancel that. And we're going to go ahead and run the work order entry. Again, it's going to pull from your daily to-do. So we'll watch GiNi do a work order entry on our purchase order entry system. This is all automated. And at the end of the process as well, we're going to see a little bit of data management. So we have these purchase orders coming in with just kind of odd names. So what GiNi does is give them A, a new file, and then B, a meaningful title, so that you can reference it and know what you're looking at. work order entry function is complete. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the folders. So out of your daily to-do, it's been removed. It's been placed into the SolarLux folder because that's the company that that PO is from. You have a meaningful named file. You can open it and you have both the original purchase order, which again is meaningfully named with the job and even the color. This is your original purchase order. And then you also have your work order that we generate. This is how we do that work. Okay, so you have data management intrinsic to the system. It takes care of all that stuff for you.